Greetings, clobberers. Two, I should say. Clobby'S Comics Corner Spinner Rack Time Machine, December 1971, week 2. Yes, indeed, another trip to Clobby'S Comics Corner Comic Shop, where you can pick up your weekly stack of comics that you have reserved in your pull list. We travel back in time, for those who do not know, in my spinner rack time machine. It's a TARDIS in the shape of a spinner rack. We go back 50 years, nice round number, to 1971, and I choose anywhere from I'm the customer by proxy to all of you. I choose anywhere from 9 to 10 titles each week that are on my quote-unquote pull list. For those I'm sure some of you still have those. I don't know. I haven't had one in quite some time as far as new comics are concerned, but some of you may still have them. And if you do, well, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And what I like to say, if you have not seen one of these videos, there's a list. Actually, there's a playlist in my description below that leads to the entire series of these videos. I started back in around September, I guess now. Was it September? Yeah. Anyway, I just thought 50 years, 1971, that would be a nice round number. I'm a big Bronze Age comics fan. I do skew my tastes, I must admit. I was 7 years old back when these came out, and I'm combining my 7-year-old sensibilities as a comic book fan with my, 5 decades later old sensibilities and my love of Bronze Age comics. And yeah, I do tend to skew towards the genre stuff, superheroes and things like that. And we have a lot of that for you this week. And then, of course, tomorrow's video, the Quick Bits wrap-up video, will be shorter, and it'll just be me showing you some of the ones that didn't make the cut because it was a big, wonderful, thriving comic book industry at the time. So let's take a look at what was on my list, my pull list for December 1971, week 2. I go to Clobby'S Comics Corner Shop. I pick up my folder, and I see all of these wonderful pieces of work, including Captain America and the Falcon, 147. Story by Gary Friedrich. Art by our pal, Sal Buscema. Sal just still relatively early on in his career. Not the beginning of it, but fairly early on in his career. And love me some Sal. Of course, inked by the legendary John Verpoorten. And it comes with a nifty Gil Kane, Joe Sinnott cover. I love that combo. And I love this cover, and I love me a Bronze Age cover. We talk about this often, where I love the setup and the structure of a Bronze Age cover. That I don't know, something about them. Again, I'm a Bronze Age baby. Obviously, the Silver Age was wonderful, and I do love it. I was born in the Silver Age, but I was riding my bike to the 7-Eleven or going to the drugstore, getting my comics right here in that Bronze Age. Well, I was 7 at this point. It was a little tougher to get comics, but you know what I mean. I was still getting them. Next up, The Flash, number 212, with some multiple stories in this case. Again, I love this era Flash. Cary Bates, Irv Novick they were a great team, and I really like this. Big fan of Barry Allen. Cary Bates on the story on this one with Irv Novick pencils, and of course inked by the great Dick Giordano. There's a secondary story as well by Len Wein and Dick Giordano, and there's a third story with a reprint from Flash 126. John Broome, Carmen Infantino, Joe Giella. That's a classic, of course. Love that team on the Flash as well. The original team, really, for the Barry Allen. Dick Giordano cover. So it is always nice to see it. And this is a book. It's got an elongated man story in there. That's what I was talking about, that second story, I believe. And that's always cool. So love, love, love me some Flash. Love me some Barry Allen. The Incredible Hulk, number 149. Story by the late, great Archie Goodwin. Art, of course, by another two late greats, Herb Trimpe and John Severin. I really love me some Trimpe Severin Hulk. I really do. With, of course, a Trimpe Severin cover. Enough said on that. It's just, yeah, this is my Hulk era right here. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love it beyond this as well. But, for when Hulk was the Hulk Smash Hulk. And, occasionally would change to blue pants over the purple once in a while. And just fight the army and fight bad guys at the same time. Hulk Smash. I love you, Hulk Smash. Next up, Subby. We got to have some Subby because, again, Subby had his own book at this point. And, oh, my goodness. Love, love, love. Namor. I'm saying that for you, Steve Mitchum. Namor. I'm still, the habit is to say Namor. Most people say it. But I love him. And in this case, well, story, Jerry Conway, but, I won't hold that against the comic. Kidding. Art, though. Gene Colan, Mike Esposito. Got to love me some Gene Colan. Cover. Boy, nifty. Great cover. But with Dr. Doom on the cover, no less. With Dr. Doom on there, no less. The great Gil Kane and the great Bill Everett with some help from the great John Romita. And yes, senior, of course. There was no junior around at that point. Wow, that's an all-star combo on that cover alone. So, gotta love that. Gotta love Subby. And, it's never, you can never have too much Dr. Doom around. So, when you got Subby and Doc Doom slugging it out, it's always good. World's Finest, number 209. Story and art, 1. Mike Friedrich, Dick Dillon, and Joe Giella. Or was it Giella? I've always wondered. He was a good artist, though, and inker. Story 2 was a reprint from Detective Comics number 74. Don Cameron, Boob Kainer, or whatever his name was. Jerry Robinson, George Russos, Charles Paris, with a nifty Neil Adams cover. Neil, like Gil Kane, was really, really big. At that point, covers were Neil Adams, Gil Kane, Nick Cardy, and then everybody else. It seems like back then. Gotta love it. So I love all of them. So that's great stuff. And this was, of course, when the book had switched from being a Batman Superman team up to sort of a Superman team up. This was many years before DC Comics Presents. For a while there, it was Superman teaming up with a different guest star. In this case, of course, our wonderful pal, Carter Hall, Hawkman. We had a big first, a lot of firsts lately. Last week was a big first. This week is a big first. Amazing Adventures number 11. This is featuring the Beast, and this was the first furry Beast. Yes, he's gray there. I know he goes blue later. He's gray at first, but this was the first one. As you all know, Hank McCoy of the X-Men and the original X-Men was just like the Beast just looked like a man who was, misshapen and big and all that stuff. This is the first one where he goes furry. And I don't mean as an a furry. Just want to be clear about that. But I love the Beast, always have. And this is great stuff, classic stuff. Jerry Conway, art by Tom Sutton, ink by Sid Shores, with a nifty cover again by two. I mean, what a legendary cover team they were at this point. Great Gil Kane, the great Bill Everett. So that's quite a cover. And again, quite a landmark issue with the little firstness. And another first following up a first. Conan the Barbarian, number 14. The cover by the great Barry Smith before he put the Windsor in there. Roy Thomas plotted this story, wrote the story with some plot help by Michael Moorcock and James Calthorne. And that's significant because it's the first. This is the first appearance of Elric of Melnibourne, however you say it, appearing in a comic book. And this is it right here, of course. Interior art by Barry Smith with inks by our pal Sal Buscema. Great stuff. This early Conan run's extraordinary. And this one is a classic, and it's again a first and a monument. Justice League of America number 96. Story and art number 1. Mike Friedrich, Dick Dillon, Joe Giella. Story 2 would be a reprint from Adventure Comics number 48 by Ken Fitch and Bernard Bailey. And there's an old name there for you. And story 3 would be a reprint from Sensation Comics number 84. Robert Kanigher and Bernie Creakston. Wow. DC work too. With a nifty Neil Adams and Dick Giordano cover. Always love these Bronze Age Justice League covers. with the heads in the side, the roll call looking thing in the sidebar there. It's kind of cool stuff. And again, another excellent Neil Adams cover. So we always like that. Yes. All righty then. Oh, yes. And again, yes, it had those reprints. Like I said, some cool Golden Age reprints with Hourman and Wildcat that I just mentioned. So good stuff there. Marvel Tales back in the reprint realm again, of course. They do a lot. Again, as I've said in many previous weeks, there was just as much reprinting, it seems, going on back then as you have now with trade paperbacks and replicas and such. Just it was done in the pages of regular, spinner rack shelf comics. And Marvel Tales was one of them, reprinting some classic Spidey. In this case, Marvel Tales number 34 reprints Amazing Spider-Man number 48 by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. But this one sports an extraordinary Gil Kane cover. So you got to love that. Love that for sure. Also out this week, it's not exactly comics, but it did come out this week, and I mentioned this recently a little bit. A book I adored. Superman from the 30s to the 70s. This, of course, was in bookstores at the time. I had this. I got it a few years later after this, of course. I mean, it had been out a while by the time I got it. Gotten it a few years probably. But as a kid, when I got this thing, I just devoured it. I mean, I don't even have that's a jacket right there. That's the cover jacket. I don't even have the cover jacket anymore. I still have my copy though. And that is how, of course, I had already loved Superman from seeing the Filmation cartoons. I had already loved, the George Reeves series and seeing him on Super Friends and what have you, and comics. But this is one that really just gave me, a look into, what it says. Superman from the 30s to the 70s. And it showed me a lot of Superman history. It's a wonderful book that has some color in it and a lot of black and white reprints. And it's just fabulous. So I'm glad I got to pick that up. So anyway, it was a crazy week. A crazy week at the spinner rack. And as you can see, not just those lovely comics I showed you, but quite a few came out, quite a few other comics. So, and we will talk about those tomorrow in the next video a little bit. We'll give them a little bit more attention tomorrow. In the meantime, before we get out of here, look, any of these comics I picked out, were they comics that you would have picked out if you were around, or if you were at my spinner rack time machine, taking a trip back in time, or did you buy them? Did you ever buy them as back issues? Did you buy them when they first came out? Everyone's experience is different. Which ones did you buy? Which ones would you buy? Please leave comments in my description below if you have any comments about any of that. And please like and subscribe. Please check out my other videos and live streams that I have here. I talk comics. Monday nights, Mark C. Comics talk, of course. Wednesday nights, which is tonight in this case, I do a live stream where I talk about, many different things. Clobby'S Clubhouse on Thursday nights with the wonderful Raquel and the great Mark D. And Saturday nights, Star Trek, of course, with my wonderful first officer, Raquel. So I do a lot on this channel, but I'm, as you know, a huge comics fan. I do comics history videos, which I've got a couple of those out. You can find that in the Clobby'S Clubhouse playlist as well. So please check those out if you haven't already, if you like this sort of thing. And please subscribe and give a thumbs up if you were so inclined. Either way, I thank you for joining us. And I will see you hopefully on the next stream, or at least on the next video. And as always, clobber on, clobberers. And thank you to Raquel Briggs, my wonderful first officer, for this video. And now, clobber on, clobberers. There you go. Later.